Hi, and thank you for visiting my channel. For more information, kindly subscribe and follow. Now let's get started. Roman Reigns' absence from the recent episode of WWE SmackDown surprised fans. One possible reason for his absence could be his impending move to Raw following its Netflix debut. Despite Reigns being missing, the company may have subtly hinted at a major potential replacement for Jimmy Uso in the OG bloodline. Currently, Jimmy is off television due to a real-life injury he suffered at Survivor Series War Games 2024. He is out indefinitely, sparking speculation that Roman Reigns might temporarily replace him in the faction. During the recent SmackDown episode, Solo Sikoa's bloodline wreaked havoc both in the ring and backstage. In a backstage altercation, they attacked Apollo Crews without any apparent reason. This incident raises speculation that Roman Reigns could recruit Apollo Crews to fill Jimmy Uso's spot. The Nigerian prince shares a history with the OTC dating back to the pandemic era. This happened when Reigns was once seen advising the 37-year-old in a backstage segment, although this storyline was never fully developed. With Solo Sikoa's bloodline targeting Crews, WWE now has a fitting opportunity to capitalize on that angle. Even temporarily, including Apollo Crews in the bloodline could elevate his status on the main roster and draw more fan attention to him. Additionally, the former United States champion might seek revenge for the attack, possibly reaching out to Roman Reigns himself in an attempt to join him. While the likelihood of this scenario isn't very high, it will be interesting to see how the storyline develops in the coming weeks. When is Roman Reigns expected to appear on WWE television next? Roman Reigns is no longer advertised for any upcoming events by the Stamford-based promotion. Initially, he was scheduled to appear on Saturday night's main event on December 14th. However, WWE later removed him from the advertising and officially confirmed his absence. This raises the question of when the OTC will return to WWE. The answer could be the highly anticipated Raw Netflix debut show, set to air live on January 6, 2025. The Red brand's Netflix debut is already expected to feature several significant stars, with John Cena being the major confirmed name for the special event. Given the significance of the occasion, the chances seem high that the OTC could return on Raw's Netflix debut to continue the Bloodline saga and make a massive impact in WWE's new era. The lights dimmed inside the packed arena following a high-stakes episode of WWE SmackDown. Fans buzzed with speculation after an emotional confrontation within the Bloodline. Roman Reigns, the tribal chief, stood tall in the ring, flanked by Paul Heyman and Solo Sikoa, while Jimmy Uso, who had recently rejoined the family after his betrayal, stood visibly uneasy at the edge of the circle. The tension had been palpable for weeks. Jimmy's reinstatement into the Bloodline had been met with skepticism, not only from the WWE Universe, but also from Reigns himself. Jimmy's actions at SummerSlam, costing Jey Uso his match against Roman, had fractured the faction's once unbreakable foundation. Though Jimmy had explained his reasons, claiming he wanted to protect his brother from the corruptive power of being tribal chief, his explanations rang hollow to many, especially to Reigns. Now, with WrestleMania season approaching and challengers lining up for the undisputed WWE Universal Championship, Roman needed absolute loyalty in his ranks. And tonight, it seemed the tribal chief had reached a breaking point. The announcement that shocked the WWE Universe. After successfully defending his title against a determined LA Knight in the main event, Reigns called for a post-match segment to address the future of the Bloodline. Standing in the center of the ring, he lifted the microphone to his lips, his piercing eyes scanning the crowd. "There's no room for weakness in my family," Roman began, his tone cold and authoritative. "I've given chance after chance, only to be disrespected and betrayed. Tonight, I'm making changes." Jimmy's face dropped as he exchanged a wary glance with Solo. The crowd erupted into boos, sensing what was coming. Roman turned his gaze to Jimmy. "You begged to come back, said you were loyal to me, to the Bloodline. But loyalty isn't words, it's actions. And your actions have proven otherwise." Jimmy stepped forward, trying to plead his case. "Yes, I've done everything to show I'm here for the family. You gotta trust me." Reigns cut him off with a dismissive wave of his hand. Trust. You don't earn trust with betrayal. You're out, Jimmy. You're done. The arena gasped as Roman's words echoed. Jimmy's protests fell on deaf ears as Solo stepped in front of him, a silent enforcer of Roman's will. But Roman wasn't finished. He raised his hand to silence the crowd. Acknowledge me, he commanded, before revealing his next move. The bloodline needs strength. It needs someone who understands what it means to be a champion. So I'm bringing someone in. Someone who knows how to win at the highest level. The potential replacement, a former WWE champion. Rumors had been swirling for weeks about Roman's plans to expand or reshape the bloodline. Speculation ranged from calling up Jacob Fatu from MLW to recruiting Tamina as the group's first female member. However, the mention of a former WWE champion sent shockwaves through the fanbase. Could it be AJ Styles, who had been vocal about his disdain for the bloodline? Or perhaps Bobby Lashley, whose alliance with the Street Profits had seemingly dissolved? Another name floated by fans was Randy Orton, whose rumored return could provide the perfect swerve. One name, however, seemed most likely: Drew McIntyre. The Scottish Warrior had recently teased a heel turn after weeks of frustration with his booking. His alliance with Roman could serve as a shocking twist, turning Drew into the Tribal Chief's enforcer while giving him a renewed sense of purpose. The swerve. What if it's JUSO? While the speculation about a new member grew, others wondered if Roman's announcement was a red herring. What if Roman's plans were not about bringing in someone new, but instead manipulating JUSO into rejoining the bloodline? Jay had been absent from SmackDown since his bitter loss at SummerSlam and subsequent declaration that he was done with WWE. However, his silence only added fuel to the fire that he might make a dramatic return. Imagine the scene. Just as Jimmy is exiled from the bloodline, Roman reveals he's been in contact with Jay all along, orchestrating a reunion behind Jimmy's back. Jay's return would shock the WWE Universe, cementing Roman's power play while driving a deeper wedge between the brothers. Why this matters for the bloodline? The Bloodline saga has been one of WWE's most compelling storylines, but even the most successful narratives require evolution. Replacing Jimmy with a more dominant or strategic ally could inject fresh energy into the group while creating new storylines. If Roman aligns with Drew McIntyre, it could set up intriguing matchups against the likes of Seth Rollins or Cody Rhodes, positioning Drew as a top heel under Roman's leadership. Meanwhile, a JUSO return would deepen the emotional stakes, pitting brother against brother in a family feud that could carry WWE through WrestleMania season. Alternatively, Roman could surprise everyone by recruiting someone unexpected, perhaps a rising star like Braun Breaker, or even a shocking veteran like CM Punk. The possibilities are endless, and the WWE Universe is on the edge of its seat. Backstage reaction. Reports from WWE insiders suggest that Roman Reigns has significant creative input into the Bloodline storyline. According to sources, Reigns has been advocating for a fresh angle to keep the faction's dominance from growing stale. Paul Heyman, ever the strategist, is believed to have played a role in the decision to tease a major change. Heyman's influence on the Bloodline storytelling has been pivotal, and this latest twist could solidify his reputation as one of the greatest minds in wrestling. Meanwhile, Jimmy USO's status remains uncertain. While some speculate he could be written off TV for a time, others believe he might align with other discontented stars to form a counter-faction, potentially reigniting the Civil War storyline with a new twist. The fallout. As SmackDown went off the air, WWE released a cryptic teaser on social media, featuring Roman Reigns with the caption, "The Bloodline evolves next week." Fans immediately took to Twitter, speculating about who might join Roman's ranks or whether Jimmy's exile was a red herring. Regardless of the direction, one thing is certain. The Bloodline saga continues to dominate WWE's main event scene, delivering unpredictable twists and emotional storytelling that keeps fans invested. Next week's SmackDown promises to be a must-watch episode as the fallout from Roman's announcement unfolds. Will a former WWE champion step into the Bloodline, or will Roman's plans take an even more shocking turn? Only time will tell, but the WWE Universe is ready for the ride.